All right, y'all. First and foremost, give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, Hamashiach, or Hamashiach, who some call Yahawashai, Yeshua, Yehoshua, Yashayah, Yahusha. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. We had the debate last week. A few days ago, last week. Anyway, on reincarnation. Make sure y'all go to the Masada Israelite channel. It's gonna pop up here because while I was screen recording, he had dropped some. So when it pop up here, I'll make sure to mention it. And then he just clipped it. He just did a clip form on me on our Q&A section. And it's pretty entertaining. It's pretty entertaining, but he kind of clipped it up a little bit. He kind of chopped it. And what we gonna do, man, later this week, we're gonna go through the slides and go through some of my points that I was making. Like I said, I think a lot of it, but not a lot. But some of my main points kind of went over people's head. Definitely went over my brother's head. With the defining the definition or defining of the spirit, before we even before we even have the dialogue of what it means or what spirit that was that went up. But I'm gonna put the video that he just clipped of me, that's kind of entertaining, in the description box. So you can watch that, you can stop this one and go watch that, or, come here and then watch that one. But it will be me kind of responding to some of the stuff that he clipped. And did I watch all of it? I watched about 10 minutes of it. I got to go watch the rest of it. But I just went on ahead and took a piece of mine. I didn't clip him up like that, like he did me. I just kind of let it roll. A couple places I had to cut out because of commercials. But outside of that, it's gonna run straight through. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Just clarify for a second. Are you making reference to the transfiguration?
Yeah, from John the Baptist, it went back to Elijah.
That soul of Elijah went back into the spiritual realm and then appeared for the one instance of the transfiguration. Yeah.
Now, why am I asking that? Because his definition is you die, you get judged, and the spirit goes into a new body. You're using the story of Elijah and John the Baptist as an example of reincarnation. But John the Baptist, after he dies, we see the spirit back in the transfiguration. We see the spirit back with Moses and Christ to be witnesses for Christ during the transfiguration. So that spirit, if we're going by their logic, that spirit that was in Elijah, that spirit that was in John the Baptist, rather, is Elijah. But it doesn't go to a new body. It goes back to Elijah in his body, in his appearance. And so John the Baptist really doesn't even exist. Elijah is going to be, that spirit of Elijah is the spirit of Elijah forever. So when it goes inside of another body, it's still Elijah. If we're using their methodology, if we're taking a hard stance on Christ saying, John the Baptist is really Elijah. John the Baptist doesn't exist. It's Elijah. And then when John the Baptist dies, the spirit of Elijah is back to go into somebody else. And really they're Elijah again, but they don't know that they're Elijah. But to try to counter that, he's going to say, well, he showed up for the transmigration one time. That was a one-time thing that he showed up. He didn't show up again. It's like, but y'all using that as the example. Let me go back and let you hear it. Yeah, from John the Baptist, it went back to Elijah.
That soul of Elijah went back into the spiritual realm and then appeared for the one instance of the transfiguration.
And what is the spiritual realm? What is that? It tapped to the spiritual realm one time. You don't know what you're talking about. Just say it only happened one time. That's only one time. It's the only time you see it in the text. But his spirit is there. That transmigration, even if that, whatever that is.
Yeah.
In one instance.
Well, that transfiguration happened once, so I mean, I don't know what you want to tell you.
Yeah, but there's a lot of instances that you use to talk about how many times somebody died and that spirit went back into the same body.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So does that fit your definition? All the times that you that we just went over the questioning where you said, did that spirit go back into that woman? How many times that person died? And that same spirit went back into that same individual. It didn't go back into a new body. It didn't get reborn and come through a womb. The spirit went back into the same body. Does that fit your definition of reincarnation? Again, John the Baptist was born with the spirit of Elijah. It was prophesied, if we're going by their logic. And so the example that we have of reincarnation is a spirit being put in another vessel, being birthed through the vessel of a woman, through the seed of a man, and then coming out a new baby, and they living out their life again. And then the cycle continues over and over. That's how they teach it. That's why they say, we're going to have kids in the kingdom. We're going to die, and then we're going to come back through those kids. And
I'm not going to hold you. I'm very confused on what you're asking me right now. Like,
you gave examples. Christ resurrecting the girl, yeah. Resurrecting Martha's daughter. Mm-hmm. That spirit left left the daughter, and then the spirit went back into the same daughter. Mm-hmm. The same spirit went back into her.
Okay, I got you.
Does that, you said that reincarnation, that the spirit has to be going to a new body. Mm-hmm. It's part of your definition. Does that fit those examples where you establish that somebody died twice, but they received the exact same spirit to come back to life? Does that fit your definition of reincarnation?
No, I'm gonna say no, right? And now I'm about to.
That's all you got to say.
I know. I gotta follow up. I'm gonna say no.
And just like he just tried to use, say, John, that situation with Elijah transfigured. He came back one time. He's trying to build a whole doctrine off of these miraculous events of those people that were resurrected or brought back to life. Those few examples that we have. He's trying to destroy the book of Hebrews off of those examples. So since Hebrews 9 says it's once for a man to die, he said, oh, well, look, this person was resurrected, and so they died once, they got resurrected, and then they had to die again. And of course, the way they put in the little contract or whatever, say, well, you got to answer this like this, and you got to answer yes or no. And so you have to say, well, yeah, they died twice, but these are anomalies. These are outside of the norm. These are miraculous events. And these are very few events compared to 100 trillion people that done died and will face judgment. And then, it's on, the Most High, whether they live again or they enter into eternal fire. Versus 10 people who were resurrected, who got resurrected. They didn't face judgment, but they were resurrected for different reasons. Some resurrected for the glorification of the kingdom, to be a witness for Christ. Even Lazarus, Christ waited. And I read this somewhere. What was it? It was miraculous. It was messianic miracles. Miracles that only Christ could do. And the man being born blind was one. Nobody had healed nobody like that. And nobody had healed anybody nobody brought anybody back to life after 3 days. And so that's why Christ waited. Even though he knew the situation, he waited until that 4th day to show that I'm different. I'm not built like that. But these miracles, he's trying to build off of these miracles. So when the text says it's only once for a die, and then you say, oh well, this person died twice because they were resurrected in this miracle, and then so we need to throw the whole book of Hebrews away. Well, we could do the same thing with people who didn't die. Well, it says it's for all men to die. But Melchizedek didn't die. Elijah didn't die. Enoch didn't die. So we should just throw away the Bible. We just throw away all these verses then. And so that's just a bad methodology to use. It might be cute in a debate or whatever, but and that's why he's using that. So he's sitting up there using those little points, and like I say, y'all play with it. Y'all can play with it. But it's you've been given warning.
And I don't know why you think you won right there, brother. Because
I don't think I won that. Let me just letting the people deal with it.
When I land my plane, it's going to be real bad for you.
Okay.
Now, we had 2 rounds. The first round is me establishing my point of how I see reincarnation in the Bible, according to the definition that we both agreed to argue against. Now, the second round is me destroying every point and objection against it. I brought that up because people like you use Hebrews from that unknown author to say that people only live one time and then that's it, and then they get rid.
And see, oh man, and so now he's showing you why he used that verse. Over the questioning, where you said, did that spirit go back into there and come through a womb? Christ resurrecting, come back to life. Does that? Hold on.
I had 2 rounds. The first round is me establishing.
And so, like I said, he's let you just know. He just let you know that he's only bringing that up and using that whole 2 thing because of that one verse that says, it's in man wants to die. So they say, well, that's wrong because these people died twice. They were resurrected and they died twice. And I gave the example of like people being resuscitated in the hospital. People just don't walk around. They might have been, through their operation, the doctor might have told them, man, you flatlined 4 times. But they ain't just walking around like, man, I died 4 times. And thinking that they had 4 new lives or something. Come on, man. Like I said, but he's only doing that to try to get away from this verse because they don't believe in the book of Hebrews. And stand on that. Don't hide it. Stand on, you don't believe in the book of Hebrews. You don't believe in the book of Luke. You don't believe in Acts.
My point of how I see reincarnation in the Bible, according to the definition that we both agreed to argue against. Now, the second round is me destroying every point and objection against it. I brought that up because people like you use Hebrews from that unknown author to say that people only.
Unknown author? Give me the autographs. Give me the autographs for all the books. Let's see how many books have autographs to them that we know the writers to, and let's see if you believe in. Who wrote Matthews?
Live one time and then.
Who wrote second Esdras? Who wrote that?
That's it. And then they get resurrected later when Christ comes back. I showed you that one with Jairus. I showed you Lazarus, and I showed you with what's her name?
Does any of those examples fit the definition of reincarnation?
Hold on, finish.
You wasting my time, man.
No, I get uninterrupted. 60 seconds. I'm really landing my plane.
Okay. Hold on, Yachty. Hold on. You still have 15 seconds left. But Brother Phineas, he gets 60 seconds to answer your question. He says yes or no, and then
I had no clock either, y'all. Okay. That was an issue too.
He's got 15 seconds left, and your time.
And I thought they might have been giving us a little warning. Usually,
okay.
I see these debates; they give warnings, 5-minute warning.
Right. Praise Lord.
Okay, perfect. When I was using those examples, I wasn't proving reincarnation. I was disproving all your points as you went to before you went to them. That's not me proving my point. That's me destroying yours. That's how you debate. So
he was using that to destroy my point. But the debate is the reincarnation in the text. That's for him to prove that reincarnation is a biblical concept. Just show me a verse. And so that's why I'm asking him, through the verses that he's used, do they fit does any of the verses he's used fit the definition that he gave? Fit his definition.
You didn't make a point there.
Oh, okay. Well, we just made the point that none of those examples had anything to do with reincarnation.
I know, I agree.
Okay, absolutely. Good, thank you. You pull 2nd Esdras 14. 2nd Esdras 14:35 here. Let me read it real quick. Well, I shouldn't even have to read it.
I mean, you can ask your question.
Yeah, does this fit your definition? 14:35 of reincarnation. For death, after death shall judgment come, and we shall live again. What does live again mean? And I want y'all to hold on to the fact. I want y'all to hold on to the fact that he's trying his best to debunk Hebrews 9:27. All right. Well, let me pull it back a little bit. For death, after death shall judgment come, and we shall live again. What does live again mean?
Literally what I taught.
Who is the we?
Are you finished asking your question?
Well, yeah.
Okay. I use that as a proof text of what happens after you die. You get the judgment, then you live again. That's what I use that for. The we is Israel.
The we is Israel.
Yes, sir.
The we is me and you.
He's talking to Israel.
Me and you gonna live again.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see anything about a new body?
I don't have to. How else you
yes or no, sir? See, and that's where they're gonna run into issues. You're gonna say we live again. How does John the Baptist get to live again if he was living as Elijah? That's why I'm saying John the Baptist don't exist. That was Elijah living again. That was his spirit living again through somebody called John the Baptist. It wasn't John the Baptist. So how does he reincarnate if these souls are just being regenerated or reincarnated and being recycled? If General Yohana is saying he's Peter, then General Yohana don't exist. He won't live again. Peter's going to live again as somebody else who may be named Chewbacca. And I know this, this can sound confused because it's foolishness. It's foolishness, man. Hold on, let me go back.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see anything about a new body?
I don't have to.
And that's why I said me and him, we gonna live again. Because if I'm somebody else, if I'm really, if I'm Peter, then I'm not really me. I'm the spirit of Peter. Not so. So if that spirit go back and it's Peter, just like the spirit went back to the Most High. He's saying the spirit went back to the Most High, and now Elijah's on the transfiguration. It's always Elijah. And when he faces judgment, it'll be the spirit of Elijah. It won't be General Yohana up there.
How
according to their logic.
else you gonna? How else you?
Yes
gonna
or no,
incarnated?
sir? Yes or no?
Oh, okay. No.
And then give your 60
how
seconds.
else are you going to be incarnated? That's not a point. How else? You
Yes or no, sir?
incarnated?
Yes or no?
Oh, I'm talking to Israel.
Me and you gonna live again.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see anything about a new body?
I don't have to. How else you gonna? How else you?
Yes
gonna
or no,
incarnated?
sir? Yes or no?
Oh, okay. No.
And then give your 60
how
seconds.
else are you going to be incarnated? That's not a point. Wait. If you live again, you have to have a body to live.
Yeah, the body that you died in.
That's not even what you said or what that said. But go ahead, brother.
That's not what I said. What are you talking about? That's your definition, that it has to go in a new body. You didn't say another body. You said a new body. And you said that because Elijah was born. You think Elijah was born through John. And he got a new body. And you think that the blind boy that was born blind was born into a new body. That spirit got judged and put in a new body and was blind. So where are the new bodies in any of the references that you gave throughout any of your slides?
Everybody I seen resurrect and come back, they came back in their bodies.
I mean, that's fine, brother. You know, that's
okay. So we don't see that. So this don't fit your definition of reincarnation.
I mean, by the way you asked it, sure. You know.
Okay.
I elaborated my point.
Let's go to Ecclesiastes 3:20.
And I noticed my brother's camera's off, but when the other brother was on, his camera was on and he was making all kind of faces for him to clip. Or he clipped him from somewhere else. I don't know. I had to go back and watch the debate. But, you know, camera's off. Moderator camera's off. When I'm talking.
And see if this fits your definition also. Who knoweth the spirit of a man that goeth upward?
The Masada Israelite School. Y'all go over there and check out the whole debate. And check out the clip that he just did about me. Like I say, it's entertaining. It is some entertaining points in there.
And the spirit of a beast that goeth downward to the earth. What does it mean? Who knoweth the spirit of a man that goeth upward?
That was a clear question. Who knoweth the spirit of a man that go upward? What does that mean?
I mean, that's his language.
Actually, what it means. Come on, you apostle. Come on, chief apostle.
I'm answering your question.
Okay.
That's poetic Hebrew language.
It's poetic.
Yeah.
It's poetic speech. Hyperbole.
I wouldn't say hyperbole, but I mean it's just poetic.
You know, the wisdom text has some hyperbole in it. And this is why it's that's why you got to be careful with poetic speech and building doctrines off of.
I don't see how this proves your point, though.
But
look, he trying to get up out of there, and still he has an answer. What does it mean for who knoweth the spirit of a man that goeth up? Who knoweth do the spirit go up?
Who knoweth the spirit of a man? Who knoweth how the spirit operates? Would you agree with that? Let me read it for you in the NLT.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who can prove that a human spirit goes up and a spirit of an animal goes down? That's a verse you pull, sir.
And I'm asking you to exegete, and you don't know how to exegete. And it's telling you don't nobody know how the spirit of a man goeth up, or if do animal spirits go down. And that's why I'm telling you, it's problematic to build solely off of, or mainly off of, the wisdom text. Because in one form, it told you that it did. It said that you die and the spirit goes up to the Father. And now it's telling you, who knows? And I gave y'all a whole slide on that. And like I said, we'll go over the slides. We'll just scan through them. I gave you a whole slide on why you shouldn't do that. I didn't make that stuff up. I didn't make that slide up. I didn't just draw that up and say that was my conclusion. Those like hermeneutic principles, man. You shouldn't do that. And now watch what it says also.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Verse 20. All go into one place, all are to the dust, and turn into dust again. We go to the dust, we turn into dust again. Is that fit your definition of reincarnation? Ecclesiastes.
See, now I could have clipped that and took his face and zoomed it in, And he's acting like he don't know when he put this on his slide.
Is that fit your definition of reincarnation? Ecclesiastes 3:20. All go unto one place. All are of the dust, and all turn to the dust again. Is that your definition of Does that establish your definition of reincarnation?
I believe you're asking these like I'm answer by the rules. No, right? And my
see the rules. Yeah, where you gotta say no and da 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 da. So when you watching the clear form, you understand that there's things I'm just saying because of the rules.
Explanation of this is I'm using those as proof text to build a premise.
And all of this proof text just show us where reincarnation is taught in the Bible. That's the debate. Is it a biblical concept? Is it something that we can glean from the Bible?
This isn't attacking the premise. I need you to understand that you're not attacking my premise. You're just saying, does this fit reincarnation? It's not meant to, and nor did I explain it to be that way. Like it's building a premise.
How did you explain it? How did you use it? It's building a premise on what?
Is this your question?
Yeah.
I use it to show right now. Which one are you talking about? You talking about Ecclesiastes 12:7?
3 and 20, sir.
3 and 20 is showing how we all go to one place.
To the dust.
I mean, we're all going to die, yes, but I mean, if Christ doesn't come back yet, God forbid, but we're all going to die in one period of time. We're going to return back to the dust, just like how it was set to happen, right?
Okay. But
now
that's
us
it.
going
It
up,
stays there though.
I'm not finished, brother. Now I went to that to show that this heaven and hell concept that people have isn't.
Now he's saying he went to it to explain heaven and hell. But the reality of it is, it said, this is another verse that contradicts the other verses that he pulled in Ecclesiastes. It says that you die, you return to the dust. From the dust you were, and you return back to the dust, and that's it. Ain't no afterlife explained in Ecclesiastes 3:20, 19, 20, 21, whatever verses we're reading here. It ends there. You're going to die and return to the dust. Nobody knows if the spirit really goes up or animal spirit come down. What we do know is you're going to die and return to the dirt. The end.
You can't really prove that because we all go to one place. Our spirits are received back to the Father. That's what I was proving. That alone, that verse, if you isolate it or eisegete it, that does not alone prove reincarnation. That's why I answered you no. It's a proof text to build a premise.
Okay. Now I just heard you say that Lazarus is a parable of Abraham's covenant and really the kingdom of heaven.
You talking about Abraham's bosom? Which clarify.
Abraham's bosom, right? Correct.
Yes, sir.
Now, he's saying about the heaven and hell, right? And saying, I'm trying to show you that there ain't no heaven and hell. Well, you just said Abraham's bosom was the kingdom of heaven. That is the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
What's the other side?
The other side is the lake of fire.
And the other side is the lake of fire. Like, what is the lake of fire? Is that a place where you get tormented? Was that parable of the rich man and Lazarus, was that parable trying to explain to you those two sides? And now you sitting here saying it is the kingdom of heaven and the other side is the lake of fire? Is the lake of fire.
Yeah, because when you see in Matthew chapter 25, like I said when I brought that out, when Christ comes back and brings Israel to the wilderness, he separates the sheep and the goats. The goats are going into the lake of fire, that eternal fire. And then
eternal fire.
The sheep are going into the kingdom that's been prepared for them. That Israel obtaining this kingdom is off of the Abrahamic promise, i.e., Abraham's bosom.
And you used what was that, 1339? And look now, I'm going to all his verses. Luke, I'm using his verses and I'm asking him, does this fit your definition? Does this prove reincarnation? Could you exegete verse 30 for me?
What were you saying? Let me see. And what?
It says, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth when you shall see Isaac, Abraham, and all the prophets in the kingdom of God, and you yourselves thrust out. Who is that, you yourselves?
The goats that you see in Matthew chapter 25.
Are they Israelites?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see Israelites. Now I know that these folks teach salvation only for Israel. And Israel gonna get into the kingdom no matter what. That's why they whole thing about that lease of the kingdom, they still gonna make it in. Israel gonna make it in no matter what. But now he's saying that Israel is these goats being thrust out of the kingdom. Let it go back. When you shall see Isaac, Abraham, and all the prophets in the kingdom of God, and you yourselves thrust out. Who is that, you yourselves?
The goats that you see in Matthew chapter 25.
Are they Israelites?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see Israelites being thrust out. And then who is they? Shall come from the east and the west.
The other nations.
And from the north and from the south, and they shall sit down in the kingdom of God.
Yes, sir. When you see in Isaiah chapter 2 and Isaiah 56, Isaiah chapter 2, all the nations come to Jerusalem because we're dispensing the law. Isaiah 56, they come and offer sacrifices to our God. Yes.
And you saying they sacrificing?
Yes, that's Isaiah 56.
Okay, so Israel is thrust out. The other nations are come in to go sacrifice to our God.
Not all of Israel, but the goats. I'm tying this in with Matthew 25 again.
I got you. And behold, there are last which shall be first, and there are first that shall be last. What does that mean?
Just a reversal of, at this time when you see Israel, they're in subjection to the Romans. They're last at that specific time, but in the kingdom, Israel will be above everybody. Isaiah chapter 2 again.
And I'm gonna tell you this too. That statement is connected to the information that he just gave you about Israel being thrust out and those from the east and the west coming in. It's connected to that. Your interpretation should be connected to that. Not, but I'm not even here to correct the doctrine right now. We just dealing with the debate situation. Okay. I'm surprised you answered that like that, but all praises. because he just told us that salvation is for the Gentile, and that some of Israel is going to be thrust out. That's crazy for him. Anyway,
did you okay, well you what about the the eternal life? The hold on. Oh, I can't pull my presentation.
4 more minutes, y'all. I didn't think I could use my slides or pull my slides up at that particular time, but evidently I could.
Does it mean that? Oh well, I think I asked you that already. Did I ask you that? What does it mean that?
Yeah, you did.
The man on the cross gonna be in paradise tomorrow.
The spiritual realm.
Oh yeah, you said that.
The spiritual realm again. Now this man Christ just told this man, "You gonna be with me in paradise tomorrow." Where's Christ going? Christ going to sit on the right hand of the Father. Is that the spiritual? Is that just the spiritual realm? What is that called? What is it called where Christ went and sat on the right hand of the Father and all the angels are at? Where is that? That's just the spiritual realm. And that's because they don't believe in heaven and they don't believe in hell.
I asked you that already. Did I ask you that? What does it mean that?
Yeah, you did.
The man on the cross gonna be in paradise tomorrow.
The spiritual realm.
Oh yeah, you said that. That paradise is the spiritual realm.
Yeah. Christ is dying at that moment. It's not really vague. Christ is about to die and give up the ghost. And so was that other man on the cross.
But yeah, it's vague. It's vague. Not vague. Do you believe that who are the two witnesses?
Now if you watch the other video, this brother, he made mockery that I said I thought it was Elijah and Moses. He made mockery. And they kind of curled their eyebrows up, and that's why, I asked him too, like, well, who do you think it is?
I don't believe those are specific people. I just think it represents specific. I think it just represents prophets in general.
He said it ain't people. It just represents prophecy.
And the prophecy dies and lays on the ground for 3.5 days?
I think that's parabolic.
Okay.
And I said, does the prophecy dies and lays on the ground for 3.5 days? He said, yeah, I think it's parabolic. He kind of whispered it.
No problem.
And I kind of left it there, but I want to go there. Hold on. Hold on. Blue letter. Let's read Revelations 11 real quick. My brother said it's a prophecy. This is what he was taught. But you got to, you're gonna have to go back and look at everything. Just like brothers over there at Genesis. Revelations 11:1, it says, there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out and measure it not, for it was given unto the Gentiles. In the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months. And I will give power unto my two witnesses. I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and 2 candlesticks standing before God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven that it rained not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them into blood. Who else has done that? Who else have caused droughts and caused water to be turned into blood and smite the earth with all plagues? Who's able to put plagues on the earth as often as they will? And when they have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see the dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. These two prophets. You saying the prophecies are the prophets? Anyway. And after 3 days and a half, watch this, the spirit of life from God entered into them. And this, on the very first, maybe about the third slide, I tried to show the definition of that. It was over 10 definitions of the spirit. But there's a spirit that gives life. And we'll have to, there's a spirit that gives life, and I divided that with the spirit that rationalizes, that causes us to do certain things but this is just a spirit that gives life, or takes life. When you lose this spirit, you can lose but you out of the spirit. You ain't down when you dead. But then there's a verse that says, without the spirit, the flesh is dead. Well, that would be this spirit. And I tried to show, but like I said, we had to go back over it. I tried to show those definitions and go into the Thayers. But brothers say we went to AI on that, but and like I said, you're not smarter than AI, so it's not even that's not even wise for you to say. But yeah, we could have just went to AI and said, does the Bible teach reincarnation? And it would have gave us a clear no. And they stood upon their feet. Once the Spirit of God had entered into them, the Spirit of life from God entered unto them, they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. But my brother said that, hey, you know what? Those are
you making reference to the? I need to clarify. Just clarify for a second.
He said that's prophecy. Those two witnesses are really two prophecies. And when they dead and they lay on the street, that's parabolic.
In the prophecy dies and lays on the ground for 3.5 days.
I think that's parabolic.
Okay. No problem. Where Peter, when Peter said to, when he asked the question, was it the parents or was he born that way? Was he right?
So what he said? No.
Yeah, he was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In this instance.
Okay.
Now let me elaborate on that real fast. When I brought that up in my presentation, I brought that up to show there's a pattern of Israel always, literally, when you, like with Luke 9, when they asked, was Christ John the Baptist or another prophet arisen? Second Esdras, where it talks about Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel coming back. There's Israel's expectation for the prophets to return has always been there. That's why they have a concept of the idea of reincarnation. So if that's already their culture, that's why Peter asked that. This is showing you that when I brought this up, this is showing you that that's their mindset. Where are they getting this from? Because it ain't just Peter. It's other Israelites who says the same thing.
And your job was to prove that they got it from the text.
I did.
And so, he made a clip where I was saying that I do believe Peter believed reincarnation was an option. Because, it does, this verse does imply that when he's saying, hey, that could have been an option of why this child was born blind. But just because he believed it, doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it something that he learned from the text, because it's not in there. And I gave an example, I want to say on my first slide, I showed that the church fathers deemed reincarnation doctrine heretical, that it was different sects. I showed a sect in the 2nd century, the Copertracians or something like that, that were teaching a form of reincarnation, and then another one after that. But I kind of breezed through it because all you needed to know was that, man, it was people teaching this in the 1st century, 2nd century, and that it already been addressed, that it was heretical. And I was worried about my time, which I should have did better. That was my one flaw in there, that I really, I was like, I didn't manage time well. What is your best verse to show us reincarnation as you had defined it in your first definition? What's your best verse?
I wouldn't just put it down as one verse, but I will say if we're going to do that, I would say 2nd Esdras 14.
We just established 2nd Esdras 14:35 that it didn't fit your definition.
Well, I mean, I was like,
and you admitted. And said, I just asked her and said, what's the best verse you have to establish reincarnation? And he went to a verse not 5 minutes ago that me and him both agreed that it did not establish reincarnation, that it did not prove reincarnation according to his definition. That doesn't fit my definition.
No, that's
and
not
now you just said, yeah, that you just rolled the tape back. That is what you said.
No, what I said is, you asked me, does that fit your idea of reincarnation? I said no. I'm building a premise when I said
exactly. And now I just asked you.
Hold up, Phineas. You asked me that, and I said I'm building.
Get your 60 out. Get your 60. And then you just trying. No, I didn't say that. I said it didn't fit the ideal I was building. Yes, it don't fit. It doesn't build. It doesn't fit the definition. You said the same thing. You repeated yourself. Say I didn't say it, but didn't say exactly what you said I didn't say.
Well, I mean, I was like,
and you admitted and said that doesn't fit my definition.
No, that's
and
not
now you just said, yeah, that you just rolled the tape back. That is what you said.
No, what I said is, you asked me, does that fit your idea of reincarnation? I said no. I'm building a premise when I said
exactly. And now I just asked you.
Hold up, Phineas. You asked me that, and I said I'm building.
Get your 60 out. Get your 60.
I know that. Please let me get my 60, please. So I was building a premise when I said that. Like, it's not the whole ideology and concept of it isn't a one verse thing. But if me answering your question and being honest, the main place I would go with 2nd Esdras 14:35, because what your antithesis of it is, that means, oh, when we come back, when Christ comes back, when we're resurrected, that's when that's going to take place. I would disagree, because the supporting text that I gave. So that's my 60.
Okay, thank you. Now watch this. Let me show y'all something. Hebrews 9:27. And then let me get 2nd Esdras 14. He said this is his strongest verse. Okay, there we go. Is this chapter 14? No, it's chapter 2. All right, y'all. Now, Hebrews, and it is appointed unto a man once to die, but after this the judgment. He wants to demolish this verse. He wants, to the extent that he wants to demolish all of the book of Hebrews. And then, even with him saying, hey, well, these people died twice, these people died. Let's continue. So Christ was once offered to bear the sins of many. It didn't talk about Lazarus. It didn't talk about these other folks. The comparison is to Christ. The same way you wants to die, Christ was once offered to bear the sins of many. And unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation. If we died many times, then Christ would have to die many times. But since it's appointed unto men to die once, so Christ was once offered to bear the sins of many. That's what that text is saying. Now, his text is 2nd Esdras. He said this is his strongest text. 2nd Esdras 34:35, which he agreed does not show reincarnation, but it builds a premise. Y'all, this ain't nothing but Hebrews 9:27. It's the same verse. Therefore, so it be, if you subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, you will be kept alive, and after death you will obtain mercy. For after death shall judgment come, and we live again. It is appointed unto a man once to die, but after judgment. And Christ dying for our sins unto salvation. For after death shall judgment come, when we shall live again. And then the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. This is the same verse. After death shall come judgment. Once a man dies, after this judgment. But you want to throwing this away, but you saying that this verse is your best verse. Y'all got to make that make sense. You got to make it make sense. Hold on. And then we'll get up out of here, y'all. Let this last little point play. I don't hear. Oh, okay, never mind.
Are you making reference to I need to clarify.
And through this whole debate is that. Okay, thank you. So you agreed that your best verse did not fit your definition and that it built a premise. And that's what I've been saying through this whole debate is that you haven't showed a verse that shows your definition of reincarnation because that verse is not inside of the text. All right, y'all. Pray the same was edifying. Y'all be blessed. Shalom. We'll see y'all on the next one. And like I said, we'll go through some of the slides and some of the history, some of the stuff that I was bringing out. But all he had to do is show on his say. All he had to do is show one verse but he didn't show one. But really, we need about at least 2 or 3 verses. But he didn't even show one that prove or teach reincarnation, and he couldn't show it.